Thank you. That's really helpful. Are there any studies on the impact of children reading about diverse or other cultures? I didn't plan it.
Well, there's some, and I can't give you the researchers' names or anything like that. But basically, what I read about was that children just, again, conversation, you know, conversation and helping them to understand. I mean, it's really important for them to learn about other cultures, because I mean, I think that's why we're in the situation that we're in this world right now, especially in this country, is that we are ignorant to other cultures, and that I mean, just really common sense tells you that you need to learn about other cultures for various reasons, you know, to learn empathy, you know, all of those things that's important to be a citizen of the world, that, you know, that they need. So I can research and find some researchers' names. I don't have any right now.
Oh, wait,
but,
Cheryl, remember we discussed, I'm going to jog your memory a little bit. We
okay.
discussed a couple years back, we were doing research on Dr. Rudine Sims Bishops, and she's the person who coined the phrase books as windows, mirrors, and sliding glass doors.
Right,
remember that word? And
exactly.
I think her work is so founded.
Thank you.
I'm like, we were there. Yeah, and so that whole concept is, you know, you can look outside of yourself and see someone else's perspective, or you can step into somebody else's life, or you see books that are a reflection of you. And I think we're in a society now where this is a creator's world. Anybody can write a book. I've written a book, like anybody can, you know, and we have the autonomy to tell our stories. So I think we have the autonomy and the responsibility. And another researcher is Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I might be mispronouncing her name wrong, but she talks about the danger of a single story and how a narrative can be created from only one person telling their story. So if we only have one voice and not diverse voices, then how will we build tolerance, like Cheryl says, and how will we build empathy and world knowledge and just really live a rich life? Like, that's what literacy is about.
Citizen of the world, to be a citizen of the world, and not just your little hole that you live in. Yeah. So,
and I'm going to push us just a little bit because I'm very, very passionate about diverse books. One of my colleagues and I, we speak nationally at conferences and conventions about diverse books. And so for anyone who's watching this, we encourage you to challenge the quality of your diverse books. And by doing so, I say we don't want characters who are just colored in brown or colored in tan. Does the language, interaction, and the embodiment of the character represented in the text really reflect the culture that it's supposed to display? Right. Or did we just make this person racially ambiguous so it fits everybody? Because if it's for everybody, it's for nobody. If we want to tell authentic stories, then it needs to be very specific. The language and the familial relationships, everything needs to tie into that. So take a look at the text that you have in your library and see, like, is this telling an authentic story? And it doesn't mean that every story has to be, you know, tied in cultural or historical events, but is the depiction of that character and how they show up in their race, identity, and gender and ability levels and all those important factors that make us who we are, is it authentic? And if it's not authentic, we encourage you to write your own stories and share your stories and tell yours.
I think I saw a question that said, when did you read a book? When was the first time you read a book?
Yourself?
When you saw yourself. And I mean, I had to think about that for a long time. Because it was a long time before I did. I was probably middle school. I'm sure it was middle school before I.
Well, thank you so much for bringing that up, because you're right. That is a question that it just slipped my mind that I always ask folks, you know,
I'm really happy about the diversity in children's literature now. But as Yvette said, it has to be correct. Otherwise, you're still perpetuating the myth that's out there about different races. So yeah, I think we're doing a better job, but we still need to do even even better. And teachers, we hopefully are going to be involved and make sure that it's correct. Yeah. And
Yeah.
not just school anything just because it's a brown face or a whatever face on the cover of the book.
That's right. You know, and I just wanted to bring up one thing from you all's great read strategy that, you know, we had been going through with Crystal. And I love how one thing that you talk about is read the book over and over again, right? Repeat the book. And then E is engage with the book. And so, you know, when I talk to folks about, you know, reading diverse books and reading books about people who are not necessarily of your background, that, you know, on those second and third readings, you can actually talk about, oh, look, you know, what's her hair like? Isn't it pretty? Right? Like, oh, look at her skin. That's a pretty color brown. And just, you know, and talk about, you know, what holidays are they celebrating, you know, and just really making it easy and common and normal
Right.
for kids to engage with other cultures and not be afraid and not have to say mine is better and yours is worse, but just to appreciate and understand that there are all kinds of ways of being in this world that are perfectly legitimate.
Definitely.
You captured that really well. And I think I speak on behalf of us at the Rollins Center. We thank you for the work that you're doing too to promote these messages.
Absolutely.
Because it's not easy, but it's purposeful work and it makes an impact. So thank you for using your passions and putting them to work to spread, you know, awareness and work with parents and families for these type of things.
Yeah, get the books provided to them. That's great.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Well, thank you all so much. And I don't want to let you go without you just telling us, you know, your titles and what you actually do at the Rollins Center. I didn't mean to sort of gloss over that, but I had these questions like burning a hole. So I wanted to get those answered. Cheryl, if you can just start, and then Yvette, tell us what you do, and we'll tell everybody goodbye.
Okay, so I'm a literacy facilitator, and that means we go into schools and work with teachers on best practices in delivering effective literacy instruction to students. We work with the school in that ecosystem, and because you can't just do one little part if you want to make it effective, it has to be all inclusive. So we look at the ecosystem, and we look at the curriculum, we look at assessments, all of those type things, and do work with schools and teachers, coaches on best practices in literacy instruction.
That is awesome. Thank you. Yvette?
I'm also a K-3 facilitator 40% of the time, and then 60% of the time I do content development. So like Cheryl said, we partner with schools in the Atlanta metropolitan area, and we work with getting information to help guide instruction, modeling and giving feedback, giving encouragement to teachers, building capacity.
And we make lifelong friends with teachers.
Yes, we do.
We really do. Even when we leave the school, the relationship doesn't end.
It does. And relationships, I believe, are the foundation of what makes things work. So we do that. And then also for coxcampus.org. Cox Campus is our professional development website for the Rollins Center. So there I create courses on topics for families, stakeholders, government partners, and teachers to extend their learning and to find really fun activities. So if you have a chance, go visit coxcampus.org, and there's a ton of activities there. And then outside of Rollins, I am a children's book author. I focus on diverse stories. I call them own stories. And so I like to analyze text and create as well. So books all around.